Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the FordTechMakuloco channel. So today we have a couple F-150s in here. As you can see, we have a 12th gen right here, 2014, and then a 13th gen 2017 model in here, both for failed trans cooler lines. Now I've covered this topic many times before, lots of examples, reiterated over and over again, how severe it can be when these trans cooler lines actually fail, especially in the highway. Before you know it, you're slowing down, because the transmission is now slipping and cooked. Because these lines blow out and they'll burn up the transmissions before you know it. So there's two different kinds of failures, even on a newer generation here, and I want to show you exactly what to look for on your own vehicle, but especially before winter sets in here. You want to get a good look at your vehicle before winter and see how bad these really are. They're all really common, so you want to look at yours and make sure everything's okay. Let's go to the vehicle and take a look. All right, let's take a look at the new line set so I can show you exactly where these failures occur. So this is the cooler right here on the earlier models, on the 12th gen. And this cooler it straps up to the front of the condenser. Now the nipples on here, I've seen them corrode pretty bad. You'll see when you pull down the line a little bit and take a look at them. Otherwise, I've not seen them crack or break off or nothing like that. No issues with the rest of the fins, nothing like that. No real issues with the rest of the lines here. Like I said, the jumper right along here on the EcoBoost models can get rusted pretty bad in pinholes, but otherwise not really an issue. The bigger issue, the most common issue for the 12th gen is these heads popping off on here. So if you look at them, you can see there's a thin crimp right here and a thicker piece right here with the built-in quick connects and the locks and the O-rings and all that good stuff in there. So whatever way they're actually connecting these two together, it's like fatigue that happens over time. And this top part, this thicker part, will just lop off, just break off from this lower part. And the port would just dump fluid, half-inch line, dumping fluid going down the highway. It'll empty the trans pretty darn quick. So that's how I look on the bench. Okay, so next I want to show you how they look on the vehicle and exactly where they fail so you can look at yours and make sure everything's okay. So the line set will come into the side of the transmission, the driver's side here, just kind of pushes in with the retainer bolt, comes over, there's another bracket right here, snakes up and over the front axle and the rack here. Everything up there is usually okay. There's another bracket in the front cover. And then it comes over to the hose section here, the actual rubber hose section. And it has these loops in them. And then they go to these quick connects. You see that quick connect is right there? And it has a secondary lock on it. Well, like I said, the heads pop right off. And that's what happened on this one. It blew off on the highway. Found out right away. It started smoking with all the trans fluid hitting everything underneath. And is able to go inside the road, cut it off, and kind of clamp it and drive it home. So that's where it happens. So a lot of times you can come up to these. I mean, they're not going to look that corroded, right? And you just kind of yank on it, and the head will just pop right off of them. So that's the most common failure on the 12th gen F-150s. Like I said, some of the, especially the EcoBoost models, this is a 6.2, but on the EcoBoost models, it goes up and over past here, and there's a big bracket right here, and it just rots. The whole line here, and where that bracket is in the clamp, it rots big time, and it comes down to the loop for the quick connect and all that. So you gotta look at that really, really close. So I've covered this generation quite a bit in the past. I'll link to the videos down below of replacement and everything about these cooler lines, because it is so important. Now this one right here is what, a 13th gen. So this is 2017 F-150. But because it has a 5.0 in it, they didn't get that 10-speed yet. So it's still a 6R80 in here. So on 15 and 16 and on 17, they went to a different design, but it fails in a different way. So they all have 6R80s, okay? And even the 17s, they have the 3.5 EcoBoost, which has a 10-speed, first time, has this same style cooler warmer block that rots and fails. So it's all the same. Now 18 on, they all basically had the 10-speed except for the cheap fleet models. So they went to a totally different design. That's not an issue, 18 and newer. So 15, 16, and 17, doesn't matter what transmission you have, you're gonna have a setup like this. So same thing, trans lines come to the side of the trans, go over, bracket right here, up and over everything, okay? But on this one, they come up to this fluid warmer slash cooler. So it'll warm the trans fluid until everything, because the engine heats up faster, it'll warm it up faster. And when it is, they're all at operating temp, it uses the coolant and the external cooler to actually cool it down and keep it in check. So the problem with these is, as you can imagine, this is under the vehicle and everything just gets pelted in the front here. Snow, sand, dirt, and salt and brine. So look what happens to these suckers. I mean, they get nasty. I mean, some of these are just beyond rotted all the way out. It's just really bad. These are not so bad. I bring it a little bit closer there. You can kind of see it starts getting this thick amount of rust on there. And also, because we have steel lines going into the aluminum block here, these push connections get really, really bad. So if I can get you a better shot of this, I mean, you can see that one right there. You see how nasty that line is right there? And that's how they get really, really rotted, especially on vehicles that are not driven. It's very bad to not drive your vehicle. So what happens with these is usually you'll see, like right here, you'll see like how bad it is. You'll start getting pinhole leaks. They won't necessarily blow off from any quick connects, something like that, because there isn't any. But they'll get pinhole leaks from all the rot going on here. And some of these are just like, they're just really bad. Let me see if I can get you up inside of here to see me better. But you can see, yeah, those lines right there, see them coming up and over. And then they go on and over. So there's no quick connects, it's all push connect type deals, but they get really rotted. So on this one, yeah, usually up here it can get pretty bad. But on this one, if you look between here and you focus, all right, I'm gonna try to get you up in here so I can show you this. Yeah, you see it right there? That's the front cover bracket going around the lines. And you can see how rotted they are. It just traps the salt and the moisture and the brine. It just goes to work on it over time. And that's why this one needs to be replaced. So it just rotted all the way through, just leaking everywhere, all over his driveway. So yeah, that's what you gotta look for. Mainly on this generation would be rot issues for sure, causing issues. Especially this cooler block on here. I've seen too many of these throw pinhole leaks. No more quick connects to break off, but now we have a new problem, which is typical with Ford. They fix one thing and they create a new problem. Now the good news is, like I said, 18 on, they all pretty much got the 10 speed, and they started using rubber hoses going down to aluminum cooler tubes with coolant running through them over to a coolant block here, and these quick connects and these lines that go over to the side, and they're never a problem. That cooler, nothing's a problem unless you hit it going down the road. Otherwise, corrosion or heads popping off is not an issue. So, you know, 18 and newer, you're pretty safe unless you have a fleet vehicle with a 6R80 in it still. But otherwise, you got to be looking at these. You got to be paying attention to them, looking for leaks, looking for excessive rust, because you know it's only a matter of time for sure. That's all for now. See you guys next time.